They say this graveyard is cursed. Those who enter never return. I shouldn't have come here. But the scariest part, he's not alone. The haunted chase begins. Eerie wind howls, owls hoot, dry leaves rustle, thunder rumbles in the distance. The moon is half hidden behind thick, moving clouds. The air is heavy, and the silence of the old abandoned graveyard is unsettling. The place is full of crooked, cracked tombstones, rusted iron gates, and eerie-looking statues covered in cobwebs. Some say this graveyard is cursed. Some say those who enter never return. Right now, Jerry the mouse is crouched behind a broken tombstone, his tiny heart hammering in his chest. His whiskers twitch nervously as he clutches a tiny lantern, its dim light flickering against the cold breeze. Jerry gulps. Why did I come here? 3 hours earlier, Jerry and a few other mice were gathered around a small fire outside town, sharing scary stories. They say a ghost lives in the old graveyard, one mouse whispered, a terrifying spirit that haunts anyone who enters. Another added. Then one bold mouse smirked at Jerry. I bet you're too scared to go inside. Jerry puffed up his tiny chest. Me? Scared? Ha! I'll go inside and prove there's nothing to fear. And so to prove his bravery, he sneaked into the graveyard alone. Now standing here, he's regretting everything. The wind picks up, whispers swirl around him. Soft footsteps crunch on dry leaves. Jerry turns sharply. Nothing is there. His tiny paws tremble. He needs to get out of here. Suddenly, a shadow moves behind him. Jerry freezes. Something is coming. Tom's unexpected arrival. Boom! Thunder crashes. Jerry jumps. Just then, a tall, dark figure looms behind him. Jerry turns around slowly. His eyes widen. His mouth opens to scream. It's Tom! But wait, Tom looks just as terrified. His fur is standing on end, his knees shaking. Why is Tom here? 3 hours earlier, Tom was playing cards with some alley cats when they started teasing him. You think you're tough, huh? Then prove it. Spend a night in the haunted graveyard. Tom, not wanting to look weak, laughed confidently. Ha, a graveyard? No problem. Now, standing in the middle of the creepy graveyard, he regrets everything. Every shadow looks like a ghost. Every rustling leaf sounds like footsteps. Suddenly, he spots Jerry. A smirk creeps onto Tom's face. At least I can have some fun while I'm here. He lunges at Jerry. Jerry zips between gravestones, dodging statues and jumping over vines. Tom slips on a loose rock and tumbles forward, but quickly gets back up. Jerry sprints toward an old crypt, hoping to hide inside. Tom follows. Crash! Jerry slams the heavy iron door shut behind him. Tom smacks face first into it. His face squishes, his nose bends, and he slowly slides down the door with a groan. Inside the crypt, Jerry catches his breath. It's dark. Too dark. Then he hears it. A deep, raspy breathing. Jerry turns, his fur standing on end. Something is in here with him. The darkness shifts. Glowing red eyes appear in the shadows. Jerry screams and bolts out. Tom, still rubbing his sore nose, sees Jerry sprint past him, terrified. Then he hears it too. A deep, hollow voice whispers, "You shouldn't be here." Tom gulps and turns. A shadowy figure rises from the crypt. A tall, floating ghost with tattered robes, glowing red eyes and long, bony fingers stretching out toward him. Tom's entire body locks up in fear. He tries to scream, but nothing comes out. Then, the ghost lunges. Tom leaps into the air, screaming. The real chase begins. Jerry runs through the graveyard, dodging gravestones. Tom sprints behind him, ghost right on his tail. Jerry jumps into an old coffin, but it slams shut on him. Tom hides behind a statue, peeking out, but the statue's head slowly turns toward him. Ghostly hands rise from the ground, grabbing at their feet. A skeleton's jaw suddenly claps shut, nearly biting Tom's tail off. The ghost laughs wickedly as it floats closer and closer. Tom grabs Jerry mid-run and bolts toward the exit. The graveyard gate is just ahead. But suddenly, the ghost appears right in front of them. Jerry slams on the brakes. Tom crashes into him. The ghost raises its hands, preparing a final attack. Then, boom! A deafening thunderclap shakes the ground. The ghost screams and vanishes into thin air. Silence. Jerry and Tom blink. They look around. The graveyard is still empty. The storm clouds clear. The moon shines again. Was it all in their heads? A soft whisper drifts through the air. See you next time. Tom and Jerry's eyes widen in terror. They scream and dash out of the graveyard, never looking back. Back home, Tom dives under his blanket, shivering. Jerry locks his mouse hole, nailing it shut. They have only one thought: never going back to that graveyard again. Fade out.